honored to read the words of Lieutenant Jim Miller. This is late summer of '69. I've been in country for about 2.5 months. I've earned the respect of my men. I have proven myself to them in several encounters with the VC. This particular day stands out only because of the irony of what happened that day. We were at the Cambodia-Vietnam border, a small village that Intel gave us that was a VC village. We approached the village with caution. We had approached the village from the south. We had just begun the outswipe. 3 men went inside as we remained outside keeping guard. As the men came out, we started getting fire from the north. We scrambled for cover, and as I dove behind a tree, I took aim to a hooch far left, north of the village. There were 4 hooches that had VC in them. I started to fire my AK. We used AKs because it was hard to get ammo for our M16s, so we used the weapons of the dead VC. And I quickly emptied 6 clips, one after the other. The firefight seemed to me like it lasted for an eternity, but in reality it lasted no longer than 5 minutes. After the firing had stopped, we began the dangerous task of making sure that all the VC were dead. We separated into 2-man teams. 2 men stood watch just in case some VC had survived the firefight. As my partner and I approached with caution, I had trouble swallowing, and my heartbeat was loud, and I was not able to hear anything else. I looked at my partner. I signaled him that I would go in, and for him to approach the window from the outside. As I entered the hooch, first thing I saw was a man lying dead with a boy about age 4 or 5. The man was still holding onto his weapon. As I checked around, I heard a scream from a woman under a table. As I moved the table, ready to fire without hesitation, to my surprise, I saw a woman ready to give birth any minute. She was going into labor right there, right next to her dead son and husband. She pointed to her crotch between contractions. She put her legs up, and beside growing up on a ranch, I had seen new life before, but from farm animals, and this was the first time I would see a woman give birth. I walked around her, keeping my AK pointed at her head. As I came to her feet, I noticed the baby was crowning. I quickly called out to my partner to get Doc. That was our medic. We called him Doc because that was the closest thing that we had to a doctor on the field. As he took off, I proceeded to lay down my weapon, and I made hand gestures to her to follow my breathing pattern. And then I got in front of her on my knees with nothing but my bare hands. I was holding the baby's head, and I was more nervous than I had ever been. I kept the baby supported by the head, and the woman was giving up. I kept telling her to push as I grabbed the baby by the shoulder and pulled the baby out by the shoulders. I was holding a newborn baby girl in my arms. The mother was so happy to see the baby she had just given birth to. She extended her arm out, signaling me to hand her over, and as I did, she proceeded to lift her over. She looked at both of her feet and her hands. I'm no doctor, but I knew the baby's lungs were fine. The young newborn, born into this hellhole, was screaming from the top of her lungs, just right after she passed through the birth canal. I looked at the mother as she held her baby in her arms. The young mother looked at me, and with a heavy, broken accent said, "Thank you," and smiled. Then the young mother pointed to her dead son's neck and signaled me that she wanted the necklace around the boy's neck. I took it off and rinsed the blood off and handed it to her. She smiled and placed it around her baby's neck. At that point, the doc entered, looked at the baby, then at me, and as he proceeded to attend to the mother, he said, "Good job, Lieutenant." Doc quickly tied the umbilical and cut it. Nothing was wrong with the delivery. Doc managed to speak with her and found out that her sister and mother lived in a village not far from where we were. We made a litter, that is a makeshift stretcher, so we could transport her. On the way back to our camp, I was thinking that this young woman had lost her husband and her son, not knowing that I had killed them, but was so grateful for the new life I had just helped her bring into this miserable war. The feelings that came to me at that moment was hope. Hope that this baby girl makes it through this one, and that she will never experience or remember any of what her dead brother saw. Thank you.